So, Scandal team decided to switch things up on us, completely wipe the slate clean and take us on a wild roller coaster of emotions, and so far we are not happy. If you're a diehard fan like myself, you'll know if there's one thing that Scandal has always managed to do, which is to deliver. They keep us going with explosive storylines, and what fans love is how they don't draw out a storyline for way too long. However, this time around, February and March looked very different. With a whole new setting, new storylines, and a lot of new faces, it's giving rebrand into a whole new show. Here's what the CEO of Okra Media had to say about this change.
Why did you do this? Okay, and I think anyone who follows the media and follows the social media, and we've all grappled with it for the 2 weeks that we've been on air, sure. Well, on the one hand, the answer is quite simple. It's about eyeballs. That's what we're here for. That's what our channel needs. And that's what we've got to deliver. And this is part of a plan that we believe, which is about delivering the eyeballs. We're in a dynamic scheduling landscape, and we had to respond to that. So that's one of the reasons why we changed. We're in a dynamic viewing landscape. People are no longer, we can't be guaranteed with your appointment viewing. So people viewing differently, so we've got to grab their attention, we've got to do new things so that they kind of go, there has a change, I need to go back and find out what's going on. So it is about rocking things up a little bit.
All right, for now, we'll be waiting to see what they have in store for us in the coming months. Let's get into what happened in March, and you can judge for yourself if it was worth the gamble or not. In February, Tiro's whole world came tumbling down when he was arrested for killing Eunice. And so, at the beginning of March, we got introduced to Dino, his fake other personality, so he could just evade going to jail and end up in a mental institution. He basically pinned the whole thing on his other personality.
And uma timing udinga omunye uma timing ngiyangithola so ngangena ke mina ngayenza into kwamele ngiyenze ngamsusa endleleni.
But when Tiro comes back, he still doesn't know what Dino did for him.
Hayi baba bengizomtshela kanjani.
Then his annoying mother convinces him to attend his sister's wedding, and Eunice's uncle is also there. So he decides that nope, this is my only chance for revenge, and he almost unalives Tiro, but then Teps jumps in and saves the day. Later on, Teps finds out that his mom helped Tiro to avoid prison with this whole fake personality thing, and of course, as expected, he was not impressed. Teps never in a million years thought that his sweet mother would be capable of such. By the way, at Thoriso's wedding, we get a glimpse into a new character by the name of Sindane. He is apparently Khopolo's brother, and the two don't seem to get along. But even if that is the case, surely he was supposed to be part of her Lobela negotiations, no? Mdala, Tlhogi, and Khabonina almost got tangled in a love triangle when Khabonina, who is their surrogate mother, decided to kiss Mdala. And luckily, he stops her in her tracks and also tells Tlhogi, who then later confronts her about it. How? Next thing, Busisiwe is back and she escaped from jail, and then she decides that she's going to bomb NFH with Dintle and Nhloso in it.
Hey Nina, you know true love. Unje, nigga miss mami to take to us part. Bye Nina. Nina ngisho nasekufeni ngizobe nibambele kanje. 4:10. Bomb. In the hour.
Next thing we know, we are flung into a whole new world. Well, a precinct, a shopping precinct to be precise, called Ethembeni, owned by Sindane. This is the same guy that we met at the wedding. This supermarket that is in the precinct is giving Ndosi supermarket on Ubambolwami vibe. As we're trying to make sense of it all, in walks Teps, Mdala, and Vuvu into the shopping precinct like straight up bosses, and they are announced to be the new owners of the place, much to the dismay of the tenants, of course. And sure, we see some of our regular characters at Ethembeni. However, just like that, the old scandal is gone. It's like someone hit a reset button and all our favorite characters are nowhere to be found. Let's get into the mess that is Ethembeni. A low-life thug strolls in and says to Sindane, "It's that time of the month, I'm here for the protection fee." Soon, they get into a heated altercation, and next thing you know, Sindane straight up hits him with his award, and the guy dies. That was just too easy, but I suppose he bled out. Anyway, Ephraim the butcher, who in the story is Nhloso's uncle, walks into Semide's office and he finds a whole dead body just lying there, with Semide sitting all sassy with a glass in hand like a fanduka tsotsi that he is, not stressed at all. Ephraim then decides he's going to help him get rid of the body, and they end up putting it in one of Ephraim's butchery freezers. But that's not long before Nhloso sees him dragging a very suspicious trash bin, and he then decides, let me follow him and see what they're hiding. Little does he know that it's actually a whole entire body, and as soon as he sees it, he's like, yeah, count me out, I want nothing to do with this. I've been to prison before and I'm definitely not going back. Meanwhile, back in the underworld, they're wondering why their guy's not back with the money yet. So they sent one of their gang members to investigate the disappearance of the first guy. But then Semide spins him a story and tells him, look, I don't know where your guy is. He took the money and he left. The guy is a bit suspicious, but then he ends up leaving. Well, it's not long before the gang leader Rex comes through to investigate himself. Remember him? He's the guy who Lindiwe and Mary met at the Credential back in the day. And he promised them fame and fortune only to turn them into sex workers. Now, let's rewind a bit. Remember I told you Semide was first introduced to us at the wedding of poet and Thoriso? It was there where he lied and convinced Teps to buy Ethembeni. Then Teps decided to bring in Mdala and Vuvu to the deal, and they all had to pitch in some money. Apparently they had to pay 35 million. Imagine 35 bars for such a trashy place. It quickly becomes clear that they've bought into a sinking ship. The place is crumbling, the tenants are hostile, they don't want them there, and they make this very clear. And since they are here now and they don't have a choice but to make it work, Vuvu decides to set up a second Me salon. Mdala starts planning his club, and Teps also starts planning to open a gambling den.
Angahleni lezi indawo lezi eloke kusetshenzwe konke engapheli sizokwenzani zona?
All right, ngapha ngizokwenza i-restaurant ne-club.
But between the constant electricity cutting off, which is especially bad for Vuvu's salon, and the tenants actively sabotaging them, in the words of Kanye West, this is bad, real bad, Michael Jackson. And then it gets messier. Now, whose idea was it to bring back Mthunzi though? Apparently, he and Nhloso became besties behind bars, and now that he's fresh out of prison, who does he go to first for help? Nhloso, of course. Remember, Nhloso was in prison for stealing money at Kutala, but he was framed, and Mthunzi thought all of this is not true and that the guy is just sitting on the money waiting for the right time to use it. But Nhloso quickly burst that bubble and tells him, yep, I was definitely framed and that is how I got out. How did Mthunzi not know this? Clearly the guy did not do his homework. Shem, talk about betting on the wrong horse. Back to Sokolfontein, yep, that's right, where you belong. Anyway, Nhloso being the good guy that he is, he tries to hook him up with a job at Ethembeni but fails. So Mthunzi decides to take matters into his own hands and look for the job himself. So when he also fails, in true Mthunzi fashion, he starts scheming. He takes aim at Ethembeni's maintenance guy's job, and he makes sure that that poor guy gets fired. Meanwhile, Poet and Thoriso are finally back from their year-long honeymoon. Yep, you heard right, a whole entire year. Who even gets to be on honeymoon for that long? What are these writers on? Anyway, the homecoming isn't that smooth because Poet ends up injuring his knee and has to get surgery. And of course, his mother singing the same old song, looking down on Thoriso because she's blind. Thoriso then ends up having to move in with Poet's family because apparently as a Makoti, she's supposed to do that. But I think more than anything, it's just to prove a point. And it doesn't really work out because, I mean, his mom just makes her life a living hell. A definite monster-in-law. I don't even think a person who can see would tolerate such treatment. Imagine, now dark or blue, you're going to be part of the 5 a.m. gang because of Mdala. No ways. Poet is right. I mean, what does she know about marriage anyway? Oh, and then there's Potsotso, a washed-up ex-footballer who walks around Ethembeni without a clear indication of what he actually does there. He's a bit delusional, always hyping himself up about his failed career like he was a legend of some sorts. As a true player that he is, he takes an interest in Vuvu, starts helping her with her business, clearly thinking he has a chance. But Vuvu, she's not interested in that way, and she makes it clear very quickly. And yeah, that's it for this month in the world of scandal, which we might as well call Ethembeni for now. But let's see how it unfolds. Perhaps there's great things coming. Hopefully,